124.7 yards per game. Are you kidding me? In a 14-game season? 1,700 yards? 21.3 yards per reception? And this man isn't the greatest wide receiver of all time? The greatest Minnesota Viking of all time?
He was stone-faced that whole time. He was not giving you any ounce of satisfaction. Look, maybe he can't hear you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, his earbuds are broken today. He disconnected. Dude, okay, you know what's actually crazy is, well, first off, he wasn't even a Minnesota Viking. I learned that this morning, which is pretty
He's
awesome.
an Oiler. He played for Houston.
And but for real, like 1,700 yards in 1961 in a 14-game season. Like, what is that for real?
It's kind of amazing that, like, it is kind of amazing we don't talk about that a little bit more. Like, right. what was he on that? Like, were people blown away? Like, that had to have been like watching Steph Curry like break into the league. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, that's such a good comp. Yeah, they're like all of a sudden they're just jacking up threes. All right. We like to have our fun, but this cover boy is paying tribute to the fact that I'm really warming up to Justin Jefferson as the 101 this week. This was a tribute to Numi because I am warming up to the combination of divisional game in Seattle, the rain, the Debo being back, the Elijah Mitchell being back, all that sort of stuff. And then all of Josh Allen being able to spread it around to whoever and whomever and not being able to get that Diggs stack kind of feels like, to me, I'm warming up to Justin Jefferson 101 this week.
It feels good to me. And it feels good to me because I like the two running backs that you can get in the very last round in these battle royales every single time, which is Elijah Mitchell and James Cook.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to say Jeff Wilson Jr.
That's your guy. That's you can have that take. I'll let you own that one. But
I don't know if I want to.
But Mitchell being there, yeah, I sure as shit don't. But Elijah Mitchell being there in the last round, I can't get enough of. James Cook can't get enough of. I should probably pump the brakes a little bit, but anyways, because of that, I like just like getting the elite wideouts and then like falling back on those guys. So I guess Mike Will is officially out per Blake. I'm assuming that's official. We don't just come in here and tell lies in the chat.
That is out. Yeah, that is official. And Skylar Thompson will start.
So we got some breaking news.
Higgins is good to go.
Yeah, that one's not a surprise. The Mike Will one is kind of surprising.
Shout out Brandon Staley.
No doubt, right? Like, what a fucking idiot! Like, just fake sharp through and through.
Yeah,
like he did everything that Cliff, like all the fake sharp stuff that Cliff has done in this. He did all in literally one game, in 3 quarters. It's just
egregious. Someone brought up, it's like, do we think he knew? Did he like somehow not know that they were in the playoffs?
Did he Ron Rivera this? And did they? Oh yeah. To be honest with you, I didn't even really know we were like fully
like your team. You haven't had a full healthy offense, let alone team, all year. All year you had somebody out, and you had the opportunity to rest those. It just really made no sense.
Yeah, I fully agree there. And you know what's tragic about it is we painted this narrative of both Cliff Kingsbury and Staley when they came into the league that they would be like, what Mike McDaniels is doing right now. We thought they were sharp. Look at them going for it on 4th down. Look at them bringing in these pass first style offenses. Look at this stuff. And it's just fallen off a cliff with the real football guy shit. Like they knew the spreadsheet stuff, but then they fell off a cliff with like the real football guy stuff of like, hey, maybe don't play your starters when you have nothing to play for, right?
Just a thought.
Yeah, here's an interesting take. The splits, I want to attribute to who I saw it on Twitter, but I can't think right now. I think it was Daigle. Daigle put out a tweet with the splits of Keenan Allen without Mike Williams over the last, I think it was like 3 or 4 years. And every single game was 80 yards or more or a score and above or something like that.
And I mentioned the Jags literally giving up, it was like the 6th most points to slot wide receivers. And we know what the Jags, I was reading the Edge, the Jags literally when they face a team that can just pass over them, that's how they get beat. So yeah, that's crazy. I wonder, just initial real quick, I just wonder where that Keenan Allen ADP is, if it slowly starts flipping. I mean, obviously Kittle, Lamb gets up to that Burrow range, because you can get Keenan Allen at that turn so readily right now. Like he's normally available to click. Sometimes someone reaches a little bit. I think that's going to start to not be available anymore. I mean, I know we only have less than a day or a day a little more to actually draft, but
but that's still like 30-something percent of the contest.
I was going to say, in terms of the contest window, it's a large amount of drafts still. So
let's
I
touch on.
I just wanted to say to this, Matt, you will get a swap for Mike. So he is out. So you will be able to put in your rankings, however you want to do it, when you're done drafting, when you're done with your final draft, put whoever you want in there. We'll have, albeit Josh Palmer, whoever you want as a wide receiver. If they're not drafted in your draft, they will swap to him. You will not just forfeit that. So,
yeah, 100%. And I mentioned something the other day that I think my favorite swap would be Palmer. When we did take him a couple times there.
Yeah.
Let me zoom this one in real quick here. We buried the lead on 3 things here when we just jumped right into things because I wanted to lead with the Charlie Hennigan thing. Shout out Joka, finished second, always hanging out in the Discord, always contributing, finished second in NBA last night for 2,500. Big shout out there.
Yeah, let's go.
Golf claps all around for you, my friend. Love to see the brigade taking advantage of all the shared knowledge. Sharp player. And then Chad came second in the Dunk After Dark for 500. So big shouts to him, always putting together these sheets and whatnot there.
Yep.
And then maybe not first and foremost, because those are pretty crowning achievements, but I do think we just have to ask, Nez, how's your tummy doing? How's your tummy, bud?
Oh man, it was a rough night. I didn't really sleep too well last night because I was waking up with just like this incredible thirst that I've never had before. Like after all, I've had long nights of drinking. I've never had the thirst that I had waking up in the middle of the night like I did last night. So slammed water like 3 times, like in the middle of my sleep.
Were you not drinking water, man, in the day? Like, was that just maybe?
No, I was, but no, I mean, just like those nuggets, man, are just so much sodium.
I was gonna say, it's just
going to draw the water out of you. So I'm doing good though. Like, I'm ready for another 50. Like, what's up? That was easy.
Don't invite that evil. Don't invite that evil in your life.
I mean, setting the tone for next year's loser in my league.
Yeah, I love it.
Bump it up to 75.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, 50 out easy. Oh, here you go. And Nick got fourth last night. I mean,
let's
Nick
go.
Is always every night. Nick is. I see his name.
Flirting
in there.
Y'all need to teach me the ways because it's been a rough go of things for a bit here. I see all y'all with these lineups. I'm just like, yeah, that was obtainable. Didn't get there even close though. So.
Yeah. Well, the Christian Wood plus Luka thing. Yeah, we're kind of getting derailed here. I'm trying to pull it up for myself right now. The Christian Wood plus Luka thing was interesting because you had to reach on Wood. So even if you were high on Christian Wood, you kind of needed to take him at the 3rd overall pick or hope he fell all the way. Yeah, 3rd round, sorry. Or you have to hope he fell all the way back to the 4th, and he wasn't doing that unless it was like you drafted in the morning or you drafted last night. As soon as projections and stuff came out and people remembered what Christian Wood did to Thomas Bryant on Christmas Day and fucking played a little ball all over his ass, and then he did the exact same thing all over again. Yeah, I mean, last night was a very interesting slate because, like, my 3rd highest owned player was Dame Lillard, 4th was Shrew, Ben Simmons, Christian Wood, and then OG Scotty Barnes, and it was just like I just didn't have the right combinations. I was all over it too. So
yeah,
I felt really comfortable.
Shy, whatever. SGA went off. It just did SGA things, and he was not he was the guy that you had to reach on per projection to ADP if you were looking around the industry. And he put up a pretty number.
Yeah, great point. Nobody cares. Let's move on. I don't know. It's fun to talk about the slate a little backtrack 5 minutes here. Okay, so so what I've kind of been thinking through here now, I will share how ETR has it in half a second, but I've been kind of really gravitating to this Jefferson matchup. I think Numi might have been right all along with just, the advantage in which that game is going to have to score points, especially now with Mike Williams out of the other game. And we saw the Jags offense struggle last week versus a very beatable secondary. Granted, they had some injuries come back in Tennessee, but I'm really warming up to this Giants-Minnesota game being the game that you need. And backstack pieces from that game are much, much cheaper than basically it's basically just Jefferson and Saquon, and then Dalvin Cook's falling, TJ Hawkinson's been falling, and Kirk is free almost every draft. I really like the approach that you've had so far, Numi. Can you add some context for me?
Yeah, so the way I looked at it is just like I really think that, like, of course there's the outliers, but when it gets to the playoffs, like, and we just look at these matchups, like, you're really just going to be a fool if you just think that this Baltimore-Cincy game is going to have any of the ceiling, even the Seattle-San Francisco. Like, if it is, I think it's going to be one, like, lopsided where it's San Francisco scoring all the points. But like when it comes down to this being the highest total game, dome environment, the matchup for Jefferson himself, we've already seen it happen on Christmas Eve. We know how you can beat the Giants. I just think it's getting really interesting, like, just in terms of how readily available the Kirk Jefferson stack is, how readily available all of these pieces are. Like you said, Hawkinson's falling, Cook is falling all the time.
Justin Jefferson in the last matchup, they had 16 targets, 12 receptions, 133 yards, and a touchdown.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
And I would like to, it's just, this is a matchup where being a year under Kevin O'Connell, like, I've seen a bunch of tweets, like, he literally has the Cooper Kupp role, which is like, the Cooper Kupp role is simply just get your alpha wide receiver the ball as many times as possible. And that's what Kevin O'Connell has learned from last year. And that's what he's continuing to do. Like, yes, there's been his dud games and all that. Like, it's been that, but same. Just to harp on that point, same formula. It was the same narrative that we made all off season, the same bull case. And then we saw what Cooper Kupp did in the postseason last year for a Rams team that we didn't necessarily all pick to go to the Super Bowl. And yet Cooper Kupp just set the postseason on fire. I think it was like 120 something fantasy points in the 4 games. And that was the piece you needed. So if we just spin zone that narrative to be like, hey, same OC, same talented wide receivers, same, I guess, replacement level, find your guy quarterback between Stafford and Cousins. And okay, this is so doable, right? Yeah, and then if you want, and I'll just bring in literally their stats, which is just they are 22nd pass DVOA. Rush DVOA is hilarious. They're last. They're literally last in rush DVOA. PFF grades, coverage grade, 31st. The Giants rush defense, they are 28th. This team is exploitable. We know what the Vikings team is, exploitable. This game is going to yield points. In the term of using Mark in the range of outcomes of games, this seems like the safest. Like, yes, it can fail, but like they're going to be marching up and down the field. There's not going to be much resistance on either defense. So that's just why I've been drawing to this. And then because of the mini stacks you can do with it, I think just anchoring around Jefferson, and then maybe you don't need to get the Kirk stack. I like to play with other stacks too. So yeah, that's been my approach, is just heavy on that and diversify around it.
I think it's equal parts. It's equal parts that game environment and equal parts how I'm souring on the other game environments. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, like, you could still make a case like for Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey. I know you said you flipped them. Like, it's for me, and I think you can agree. It's not like he's just leaps and bounds above it. Like he is for me a small tier. Like, but I mean, definitely you can make the case, and like I have to mix them in. But right now, I'm just trying to get heavy. And yeah, when it's just like you said, souring on the other game environments, and then in context of the slate and how it's shaping up, that's also just why, I just feel like he's set up in that smash spot to give you that 25-30 score, and then you just diversify around it.
Yeah, I like it. Well, one thing that, Ricky's touching on here that I think everybody feels similarly here, where it's like Kirk scares the shit out of everybody. Yeah, fully agree with that. And in some vein, the projection models all three of them, Stochastic, ETR, and Blitz, all have Daniel Jones ahead of him. And Daniel Jones for projection versus ADP right now is the highest separator on the slate. He's projected to have the second highest ceiling. I mean, take it for what it is, because Mark says it all the time. Oh, that was the other thing I buried off the top. Mark is not here because he's having his fifth child. His wife is, he's got bags packed by the door. He's been up since 2 a.m. and she's having contractions and all that sort of stuff. So shout out to him. Hopefully everything goes smoothly and we can dap him up in the upcoming weeks here. But that's why Mark's not here.
That's awesome.
That was the
shows are just gonna get louder.
Yeah, right.
Oh man,
5 kids in the background.
That was so good.
Yeah. Anyway, so one thing that I've been doing, that I think a lot of people I've noticed have started to do is mix in naked Danny dimes or something like that. It's really hard. It's really hard to it's really hard to pick which pass catcher I should pair Danny dimes with. So I do kind of just like running him naked, especially because his other pass catchers aren't being drafted. But there's definitely some leverage in picking correctly what pass catcher to pair him with. That's what I would say.
100%. And I would just kind of sort it by ADP in terms of their pass catchers when you look at it, and it's like they're all down there, but it looks like Hodgins would be the highest picked, and then James, and then Slayton being completely overlooked at a 35.8. So, which is
surprising because Slayton, if you asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said Slayton was emerging as that guy once he came back from the injury and stuff like that. It was kind of like, oh yeah, he's going to come back and solidify himself. And it just hasn't been the case in recent memory. I'm going to pull this up. I'm just doing this on the other screen here.
Yeah, I was literally going to check out their snap counts too to make sure I'm not.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that bad.
Look at Slayton though. We're going 92, 83, 94, 99, 83 in almost all the important games that matter. But there is a little bit of, some mix in here where one game, all of a sudden you see Richie James be the piece at 91, or you see Isaiah Hodgins be the piece at 97. We saw Isaiah Hodgins almost break a slate on Thanksgiving Day.
I think it was against the Vikings, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the.
Was
it the Christmas one against the Vikings?
I'll go.
It was one of the two. Yeah, it was one of the two that he almost broke.
And maybe he just scored. Maybe he wasn't going to break it. But either way,
he scored once and then he dropped one in the end zone is what it was. Whichever of the two slates it was. Anyways, just throwing out some names, throwing out some back end stuff here. This is kind of what I've been gravitating towards versus ADP. It's pretty in line with ADP, not going to lie. And then kind of after this Keenan Allen one, I go crazy and I just draft stacks and teams I'm interested in. One thing I've been listening to some sharp people talk about, though, is they've been falling less and less in love with the notion of run backs. You know how we're always talking, stack and bring it back and stuff like this. A lot of sharp players, and we saw it with Alex Baker's Millie Maker winning lineup this year, where it's just all onslaught, no bring back from that Vikings game. Or we've heard Brick talked about it a couple times about like how all of the new modeling and all of the new stuff that guys are building suggests that the run back isn't as important as we once thought it was. I don't necessarily know what to make of that for our contest and takeaway, but it has got me thinking about like our contest in the past. We've seen like 2 Eagles wide receiver with a completely other different stack win. Like, who's to say this week you don't need CMC plus Debo or CMC plus Elijah Mitchell, and then you just need all the other pieces from a different game, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting more and more on team onslaught 2 teams in these builds and just fuck the run back.
I like that a lot. That's honestly how I've been kind of approaching that. And especially in the games that you just look at that San Francisco game, there's going to be points galore, and you just look at the total, like the team total for it. I love that. Doing it in the Bills is fun too. For the same reason. The Vikings, I mean, you can do it in so many different ways. Like, who's to say, like, everyone, I feel like one thing that's really interesting, you can maybe stop me if I'm wrong, but like, I feel like everyone thinks that this Chargers Jags game, it's going to be high scoring and close and a shootout. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
I did for a bit. I don't think so anymore. I don't know.
Well, what if one team just throttles them? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and I feel like that's an interesting, unique separator, because a lot of teams could be drawing dead if it's just one team scoring points and your people are bringing back every single time. And then those guys are just instantly drawing all those teams dead. You can separate, because then you don't have anyone on the bring back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like sometimes we just have to take our like tinfoil hats off and throw our spreadsheets out the window and be like, these are the fucking Jags, man. They're the Jags, and they are hosting a playoff game. Like, maybe they just are still the Jags. Maybe this is Blake Bortles era Jags, and Joey Bosa and Derwin James come back and just eat Trevor Lawrence alive after he's had back-to-back clunker games.
I could say the same thing for the Chargers. You know what I mean? We could say, what if they're just the Chargers? Like, what if they are the Chargers that we know they are, and the Jags are going to throttle them? Like, you could, for that game, that's where it's like, I feel like it's literally like a top. I have no lean. For me, it's like, I really don't.
One thing I wanted to bring up is James is talking about with the passing game in San Francisco with the heavy rain. Kevin Roth just put out a tweet this morning saying that the rain is going to be like scattered showers, so not necessarily like downpour rain, and the wind before game time is going to be bad, like 40 mile per hour gusts, but it goes down to like 10 to 15 mile an hour gusts. So at the field could be a concern. Like, the quality of the field could be really shitty because of all the rain. However, come game time, these are conditions that historically have not mattered. So I think that I don't know that we're seeing a huge shift necessarily in Niners and Seahawks in these draft lobbies. Like, Kittle is still far and away tight end 1, but I had a lot of FUD about the weather in that game. But now, after that tweet, now I'm feeling a lot more comfortable taking Niners, and we should feel really good about that, because the Seahawks defense is not very good.
Yeah, I like that.
That's not good. And the Seahawks are also interesting too, I will say. Like, it's just we've seen the Niners get exploited against. I mean, 2 weeks ago, Jarrett Stidham with those pass catchers. Like, we know that the way that they can get exploited is a good passing offense. Seahawks maybe aren't like the greatest, but they're a competent pass stop. We know what they have been. They've kind of resorted back to their ground and poundish run over the last like half of the season than what they normally were. But I mean, I think they're definitely more viable than what they're giving credit for in these lobbies, is what I want to say.
I agree. Yeah, I see Tyler Lockett go once in a while. I see DK Metcalf go once in a while. I see Kenneth Walker go almost 80% of the time. I will bring up some actual numbers, so I'm not talking out of my ass here. Based on interesting,
because like, you would think the way that they're going to win and how they want to approach this is not to run Kenneth Walker into a brick wall of the number 1 rush defense over and over. Right? Like, they're gonna have to pass. Like,
I think it's because people are just buying. I think people are just buying projectable volume there at like a weaker position and people were really buying into the weather narrative. I think it's interesting what Nez brings up because the weather narrative on a shorter slate like this, and given the fact that it's the postseason and whatever, has been hyped a lot more than we normally would see hyped early in a week, right? Just because of the context of the game, how important the game is, blah, 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 right? So I do think it was a really sharp point that Nez brought up, that the weather might not be that bad, and maybe we should be building in these ancillary pieces of Seattle late, especially when we're going to get some leverage off of. Okay, here's Lockett. Lockett is being drafted 71% of the time. He's been stacked 1%. That's shocking. 106 drafts there. Nope. Run back 47%, stacked 1%.
Wow.
Yeah, is it a
DK Metcalf stacked 2%, drafted 41% of the time, and then Kenneth Walker stacked 0% of the time, 69%. Nice drafted. Yeah.
Geno doubles
with Ken Walker.
Man, I don't know about with Ken, but
this week is setting up for me so hard. It's setting up for me so hard with Geno doubles, Anchor McCaffrey, Geno doubles, Brady doubles. Like this has been my fucking.
You're gonna start.
I've won 2 contests with Brady doubles. Like it's starting out like this.
You're gonna start the slate off with Geno doubles, and then you're just gonna sit there, and then you're gonna draw dead the next game. You're gonna draw dead the next game. You're gonna be like, all right, Jefferson's my 101. That's okay. Draw dead the next game, and then you're gonna go. Here comes the late day hammer, and here comes the Monday game.
Monday night hammer, baby. Okay, couple things. Yeah, I think just one more thing with the weather. I think people's minds go to that Trey Lance game in Chicago where San Francisco lost and it was a sloppy field and it was whatever. That field is renowned for being terrible. Soldier Field, like the conditions are renowned for being terrible. I would take that visual. I would throw it out of your mind. I would say this is a completely different San Francisco team than we saw then, right? Both with the addition of McCaffrey and new quarterback play and blah, blah, blah. I would just take that visual and I would just throw it out the window, right? I think that's one thing that's lingering in people's minds when they hear San Francisco and rain put together. There was some sharp shit going on in the chat here. Counterpoint to the onslaught stuff, the Tampa Bay where you needed the DJ Moore bring back. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not saying the bring back's not viable. I'm just saying as like an overarching like mindset, I don't think it's as concrete as we give it credit right now. I think the bring back was so much on DraftKings and stuff was to simplify large field rosters and to have like this push piece on the other side. I don't think you necessarily need a push piece if you're betting on McCaffrey to be the guy for San Francisco, or you're betting on, I don't think you necessarily need a push piece for the other side of Buffalo. Like Tyreek is nice. Waddle is nice. I don't think you need a push piece if you want to onslaught Buffalo this week. Like that, I'm just thinking through it in the context of the game, like the actual game, opposed to like our theoretics. That's right. All I would say there. Yeah, Dark Sheep has another good point here that's kind of long and broke up in 3 things, which I'll read in a second. But yeah, just more context to that. Interesting. Just stuff to think through that I've been thinking through. Anything else, gentlemen? I said I would share the ETR comparative. ETR has all the running backs thrust up like this. They are really in love with Saquon this week. It really surprises me to have Saquon thrust up over Austin Eckler. But look at that screaming Dalvin Cook value there, right? I mean,
yeah, that's what really stands out.
Yeah, it's very interesting there. They mentioned on their podcast, I think it was Levitan was mentioning that Joe Mixon's receiving role has really been the strongest it's ever been. And there was some thought that, hey, now that they've kind of saved him a little bit for the postseason, we see old school Joe Mixon with new school receiving volume. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden we find ourselves with 23 touch Joe Mixon, and he gives us maybe not that 5 touchdown game that he had earlier in the season to break a slate, but maybe he gives us that 3 plus 100 or something like that potential in this matchup.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Mixon a lot as leverage off of the early Burrow and Chase that are going. If you can't get that, you get a Mixon, and that just seems like, I mean, he can get the passing touchdowns, I know, but yeah, that just, me and Nez have been talking about, like, it just feels like Mixon, and Nez told me like 3 times. I feel like Mixon's gonna bury me, and I'm just like, well, just keep drafting him then, because like,
yeah,
I think he's I like him. I think he's a good pick there. So
yeah. The chat also mentioning Tony Pollard. Do you guys have thoughts on Tony Pollard in general as someone who's following Zeke going undrafted? Thoughts there?
Yeah, I think, I've mentioned it and everyone else is thinking it, right? Like, this is the most like what you've got Tom Brady in the playoffs versus like the choke artist in the Cowboys. So nobody has faith in the Cowboys actually doing this thing on prime time in the playoffs against Brady. But the Bucs have looked pretty bad most of the season, and we've all, said like, yeah, but once they get there, who cares? But it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that the Bucs did not look good for the majority of the season. And we have a Cowboys team that has some explosive weapons. It could very well be, like the Cowboys, fire on all cylinders and just whip ass. And at that point, obviously, if that's the case, you're going to want some of these Cowboys. I think right now they're bordering on undervalued. Zeke, Zeke especially, going completely undrafted. I know his ceiling isn't high, but he scores touchdowns.
Have you guys seen a pass catcher not named CeeDee Lamb or Dalton Schultz get drafted yet? I have not.
No, and that makes my Michael Gallup stance that I'm taking a little bit with this Dak late a little happy. I mean, it's just, those are the guys I'm talking about. And I get that it's not pretty. If you look at a projection, you're like, if you just look at Michael Gallup in general and you try and tell the story, I get that. But that is your point right there. It has been all CD, all Dalton, a little bit of Tony, no Zeke, barely any Dak, and then no one else on that team. And so, I mean, I know it's got crowded. They have TY. I don't know if Noah Brown's still getting snaps, but like,
Noah Brown's saw an uptick recently, like after he kind of like Michael Gallup like replaced him, and then now all of a sudden you're seeing this little reemergence of Noah Brown.
I mean, Gallup has still been getting the plenty in the last week 15, but yeah, that's the one thing I'll point out too is I have noticed that in my drafts.
Yeah, so just something to think through there. The last one, I'll jump in a draft while I'm talking about this, but the last one I wanted to talk about is the shorter the slate, the more condensed the scoring, the more I'm willing to pair teammates in good environments, right? Because I'm thinking about this slate from like the overarching thing, and I'm seeing 3 team totals under 17, under 18. With the Ravens, the Dolphins, and the Seahawks. We talked about how the Seahawks could play up from that, and we could find paths there. I don't think anybody's drafting outside of maybe a little Tyreek, a little Waddle, and a one-off Gesicki. I don't really think anyone's touching Miami. And then outside of Mark Andrews and maybe a one-off Dobbins late, I don't think anybody is touching the Ravens game, right? So it really condenses a small slate even smaller. So how do we get different in that? Well, start pairing some teammates together of onslaught games, or start pairing some teammates together that wouldn't normally be paired together. I mean, a lot of people are going to pair Cook with Hawkinson or Hawkinson with JJ. Well, what about KJ Osborne being the guy that you need there? Or what about Adam Thielen being the guy you need there? Or something like this. Like it's all within range of outcomes. We saw it 3 or 4 weeks ago on that small slate where it was like the Kirk double is what you needed, and it was Osborne, not Thielen, that you needed, right?
Fun fact, TJ Hawkinson's game against these Giants.
Right. There you go.
So, I mean, the fact that I think Pollard, maybe people are just box score looking, they click him and they go, oh my, disgusting. They look at they see his points and they're just like, I'm not drafting that. But like I to your Cowboys point, I also do. I think they're both undervalued. I've been scooping up Pollard a lot. He's fallen to the 6 quite a bit. And it's like, I'll take it.
Yeah, the Gesicki one's interesting because he's also shown a little something with Kyler too, or with Skyler.
Yeah.
I was hoping Allen would fall, but Definitely JJ here.
Dude, I had Allen fall to the 5 this morning, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be the Allen Diggs guy. I'm gonna be the GM meme right now. Like I was I already had the tweet written. I had GMG. I had GMG, and I was waiting for the screenshot. And this motherfucker on the end just goes. He went rogue. He went like Diggs, Keenan Allen, or something like this, and I was like,
he knew,
man. Yeah, he knew the Mike Will thing.
Just playing lockdown defense.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta do Daigle a good service here, and I'm gonna find that tweet for everybody because I thought it was very.
You are up real quick.
Oh wow, JJ Saquon.
Yeah, that's rare.
Saquon looks rare, gentlemen.
I only have one, and it was like a.
That's sick.
Didn't expect it, so yeah. This is always fun.
Yeah. Well, guys, I got about 17 of them already in the bank. Okay, here you go. I will fire this one up here on the big screen. Let me see. Boom. We shall see. Can you guys read that?
Sure can.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
Keenan Allen's career target share with Justin Herbert in games with Mike Williams injured or inactive. Yeah. I mean, he scored a touchdown in every single one of them but one. And it's funny that the one he didn't, he had the highest career target share in that ball game. But just, look at the touchdown equity we're seeing here. And I don't know. I do think some people smarter than me have made the argument that it is bad for Austin Eckler. Just in terms of the way in which they use Keenan Allen now as like all of that pass rate stuff that we were expecting to see as Eckler's dump off that we saw earlier in the year is not there as much. And it's a big boost to Keenan and a downgrade to Eckler. And I think that might be what Leone's reflecting in his model.
Whoa.
Okay, we got some decisions here. We could buy the Burrow dip and try and pair Higgins and get really weird with this because I think everyone's going to try and go the Kirk route. Yeah. Like let's just do it. Let's try it. I think
yeah.
There's a stack too at tight end that we could do too if we wanted to.
Well, I think my brain wants to click one of the Minnesotas and then bring Kirk along with it.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common to think in that lineage if you happen to roll a Saquon and Jefferson start. But what's the likelihood of having a Saquon and a Jefferson start and then Burrow also falling? Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
And we got multiple outs here because if T doesn't fall to us, we can take Mark Andrews. And you get a mini game stack there. And then you kind of have Tyler Boyd as an out in the last round. Or we could just go naked Burrow with Mark Andrews from the other side and then go completely rogue with a little onslaught from a different game environment or a onslaught plus bring back, something like that.
I will say I'd
rather do Hurst.
Yeah, I would like Hurst instead. But I will say if we want to go down narrative street here, and if we were to go naked Burrow, playoff Burrow is a different animal. He likes to run a little bit in the playoffs. I think last year he kind of shocked everybody with his running ability.
Yes, nugs, baby. Well, it doesn't matter.
And people were like, "There's no way Burrow runs again," and he did it 2 games in a row. I mean,
you're right.
I like that.
No question, no debate there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no debate here for me either. I mean, I think you can make a case for Mark Andrews, but I think it'd be a silly one.
Yeah. You could always make a case. Whether the fact it's a smart one or not, I would not agree with that. It would be Higgins no brainer.
Andrews feels.
This is the mindset.
He does. He feels like a trap.
Sorry, Mark Andrews feels like a trap.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't like it. But go ahead. What were you saying?
I mean, it's funny how we've come full 180 on that Tyler Huntley narrative, right? Where it was like, hey, Tyler Huntley, they were forced to pass. That'll unlock Mark Andrews. And like, we just actually haven't seen any of it. We saw a 9 for 9 and 100 game from him, but no touchdown. I don't think he scored a touchdown since Huntley's been the quarterback. But this is one thing I just want to talk through, a mindset thing, is we intuitively know these things now. And like, I really hope everybody else is on the same level. And when we talk through it, they're thinking the same way. Is like, we didn't need to consult the sheet, but we knew, like, JJ, Saquon, Burrow, 0.76%. That combo exists once, right? Like, these are the things we also have to be thinking through with this game versus DFS versus whatever. Is like, we don't necessarily need the most projectable points here. We need the most projectable, unique points. And that's what we're giving ourselves a path to right here with this build thus far, right? Okay, we could get really crazy with it and do, I don't know. Give me some ideas here, gents.
What about like I like Dawson Knox as a pass catcher. And a
Ayuk fan,
we could do Knox. Is still hasn't practiced.
That's a good point. Good shout.
Okay, let's do Dawson Knox as our tapped into that other game environment. Because I think in this build now, we have a stack, we have a mini correlation. I think we're just looking for raw points now. That's kind of what my mindset is. I don't know. Yeah.
So it just screams Elijah Mitchell.
I'm not gonna make you do it.
It's funny because I went and looked.
I'm not gonna lie. Elijah Mitchell feels a lot worse than James Cook on this team.
Yeah.
I think from a mindset, but there's one player.
I was just joking there, by the way.
No. We know.
Wait,
we know the bid equity.
Well, I mean, you could.
I think we take Kenneth Walker. I think we just take projectable volume. We take a little bit of floor here. We accept the fact that we have such a unique build as a start there, and then we just hope we pry some points from the other game.
I don't think we need a galaxy brain here. I think we've got the team is chalky, but it's going to be like you could draft like 50 more times and maybe not get that first 3 that we got. I wouldn't get cute here.
First four, because I doubt T falls with it, you know?
I'm not a big Walker guy this week. I just
that's fair.
He can get all the volume he wants. He's running into a brick wall.
Yep, that's fair.
Like,
entirely fair.
This is the best rush defense in the NFL.
Yeah,
they are not exploitable on the ground.
Yeah, I wouldn't say be overweight on Walker. I don't think he's someone to be overweight on. I do think that if you are going to take him, I think that team probably makes the most sense to take him. But I agree with you, Numi. I don't think that, like, if Walker blows up, it's because like Seattle pulled an insane upset.
My thought is I think
no one would have been able to call it.
I think he sinks the team.
Interesting one.
I think we're just looking for projectable points that really aren't there, and then we just take them. And when we could have done John's point where we double stack a game without Kirk, we took another piece there. We took another piece. We took the James Cook, the 2 from there. I think there was plenty other options that could have led to more points and a higher upside. Because even though we weren't shooting for upside, I'd still like to have the median with the upside baked in. I just don't see it with Walker there.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I think we triple condomed that lineup because we knew the uniqueness of it early. This is a good one. Yeah, just a guy Alan brings up, former BR champ, first ever member of the winner's circle, brings up Walker versus Lenny. And the models right now, I think, like Lenny a lot more with the same narrative as the Mixon one. Twist my arm, boys. Pick one. Let's have a vote off.
Let's go McCaffrey.
Okay.
So Walker projects better in our combo sheet than Fournette by like a point.
A point, yeah. So
there's not a huge separator. I try to split up into tiers as far as like the large like separators.
That's what I do as well. Yeah, because it's like when you look at it, if you take the quarterback position out, like.
Yeah.
And you go from literally 20 to 15. I know it's a 5-point gap. You can even like that's technically Travis Etienne Jr. all the way down to 15. That's Brandon Ayuk. Like bunch of names just grouped in there. that have a lot of lower ADP, unique things that you can do in there. So
I'm not gonna lie, James, I got a few of these. I think it's very sharp. I think it's very sharp. It's a very easy way to diversify your CMC teams and get the touchdown equity of a blowout or potential blowout, especially if the weather is bad. I don't think it's Galbrain at all.
I'm just glad I didn't have to say it. So
there's nothing better than an Isaiah or than an Elijah Mitchell vulture than when you have them both on the same team and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah, I want to say where was the other one? Yeah, back to this versus Lenny thing. I think the narrative exists. Oh shit, we're on the clock.
Yeah, that's where I go.
I think a lot of people are going that way, but I like it. It doesn't mean we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting a lot of love.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about the Lenny thing is you get leverage off of. There we go. This is the nugget we were looking for. You get the leverage off of everyone taking early Bucks wide receivers by leaning on Lenny. Then you go playoff Lenny narrative. Then you go, hey, they've been saving him for the postseason. Then you go, he's the running back who hasn't fumbled this year, and Rachaad White's a rookie who's fumbled this year. Then you go, Tristan Wirf's back. And like you just keep going down the line with this Lenny narrative, and you go, holy shit, we could see playoff Lenny this week. Like I'm talking one through the air and one through the ground, and that's the piece you deem from that game. I'm not scared of the Cowboys defense. This Cowboys defense is a completely different defense than we saw early in the year. And Micah Parsons is basically the only separator from like the pass rush there. And how do you get the ball out quick? Or how do you beat a good pass rush? Well, you get the ball out quick. And that's exactly what Alan's saying. Little dump offs from Tom. Like we could see, especially if they're trailing, we could see a 7-catch Lenny game. Not as valuable on our site as DK, but at 5,300 on DK, I mean, let me scoop.
It definitely Fournette feels like he has that job squarely over Rachaad White right now. I think they want him to be want him to be healthy. White didn't really like blow anybody away whenever they gave him like the opportunities to do so, to show them like, hey, if you want like earn the job, he didn't really do that. And Tom likes his veterans, and Lenny's the vet, and we've seen it. He's playoff Lenny for a reason. So I think that's a fun way to go about it.
Here's an absolute touching dirt take. Cowboys D not good on grass. I love that. That's next level.
I need to start like bookmarking these tweets. I saw a tweet talking about grass versus turf. It's real.
What do you guys think about pairing Debo instead of pairing Mitchell?
I like it.
It feels fun, right?
Yeah. I think that's good hedge off of my my strong Mitchell stance. I will say that.
And now I think I'm not really paying attention to the draft board. Two
non-Badgers. They're looking
wild
for,
cards.
They're looking for Tom. They're looking for Tom. They know it's Tom in the playoffs. They're looking for him. They're going to be so pissed that they're left with Daniel Jones, the second highest projected player on the slate. They're punching air right now. They can't believe you sniped me on Tom. Meanwhile, they've got no bucks.
Yeah. Okay. So Chad illustrating here. This is a really good point. Shout out Chad, always doing this the grind for us. He's looking right now. Link in the bio to the sheet. He's looking at the combinatorial ownership of our original drafts that we've been compiling as a team here. CMC plus Debo 14.5%. CMC plus Mitchell 1.53. I got enamored with Debo there and got excited, and I clicked his name. I think the Elijah Mitchell would have been a better play, because who's to say, right? Like, do we think Debo projects better than Mitchell? Yes. Do we think, but by a factor of what? Like, what's to say that those two don't find the end zone and you find unique points, opposed to like Debo and McCaffrey find the end zone and maybe we still have like, we still have a very similar team to everybody else, right? Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, more Elijah.
Chip, what show did you think you were tuning into, dude?
Yeah,
what did you expect? I'm still here. I'm still here.
The people heard that Silva's been watching us, right? The people heard that Silva's been watching us and stealing Nez's nuggets, right? Like
Silva and I have always been like in lockstep in a lot of our opinions. So I think he finally starting to tune in, realizing that like we've got some real good sharp guys on here, and yeah, I think he just feels safe in echoing what I think.
Okay, I think Schultz as like a really obvious run back here makes a lot of sense. To make it more unique, we could go Noah Fant, but we also have seen Colby Parkinson mixing in over Fant a lot more recently.
Schultz. I don't think you overthink it.
Okay, sure.
Schultz is going to be really nice. I know he hasn't had like the awesome games, but he's going to be out there. He is one of Dak's like favorite targets this year. So I'm not worried about him at all. I really like him actually in this game. This is a tough game. That's probably obviously this and Jacksonville Chargers is like the toughest, like who comes out of this. Every other game is really not looking to be anything worthwhile, and Vikings-Giants as well, but this one especially is a really tough one.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. Hey, Chip, thank you for the shouts here. We got 59 people in here. We only got 17 likes. That's pathetic. Come on, do us a
domination.
If you guys want us to keep showing up, keep showing out. I know we're not the smartest guys in the world. I know we're not the best at these games in the world.
We're not the best looking.
We're not the best
we're not
looking.
The richest. but we got each other.
Yeah, but goddamn it, we're gonna show up. All right. Sometimes your best ability is your availability. All right.
That's print it. Print the shirts.
No, do us a favor. It goes a long way for playing this algorithm game that we're low key trying to figure out right now. Yeah. Underdog's gonna help us try and figure out this algorithm game. See if we can get some more people in here hanging out. Hey, but appreciate you all, right?
Oh, absolutely.
No lights, no nugs. That's the rules. Nez is saving a couple right now. Nez is saving it.
I can do 50 more today. I feel great.
Do it.
I feel fantastic.
Do it. Order it.
Put it in.
I think we could get a little fun off the start here if Austin Eckler falls to us and do like an Eckler Allen team. I do think they cannibalize one another a little bit.
Damn you.
Yeah. I keep falling back to this, like this range, this back end of the draft board, because that's kind of like the 4 that go first. And now it's just kind of like the same decision over and over again. I like Chase. Do you guys like Chase, or you want something different?
I'm good. I like Chase.
I like Chase. I'm just one thing I find is that like I think I'm low key, not on purpose, fading Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I don't think I take Diggs a lot here. Just because I'd rather like one of the running backs here I really like, and then I usually go like Chase or Lamb, and for whatever reason. And I think I am like low key vindicated in that because Diggs hasn't had like a dominant game in a minute.
No, he got that
fair.
nice long tutty, and that helped him get to what, like 18 points.
Saquon, backdoor Minnesota, unless something weird happens.
Let's keep it in our back pocket. I like it. I like Saquon though.
Yeah, Saquon, backdoor Minnesota, because I think everyone and their dog right there would click Burrow's name.
Yeah.
That Burrow Chase, I'm talking Burrow Chase. It might be the piece you need, but if we're souring on a divisional matchup where we don't think they throw as much, where we think Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphreys are both active, which they will be. I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of like a little bit of sour on that notion that everyone and their dog is going to have a Burrow Chase plus Andrews or a Burrow Chase, like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it makes sense. We just saw Burrow fall, and maybe he doesn't fall again, probably doesn't, but I think that's the way to do it. Is try to get your Burrow Chase stacks with like a really nutted combo that doesn't happen a lot. Just really chance it and push it and get greedy, because if you don't, you're going to be the 1,000,001th person with a Chase Burrow stack.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but how?
well said.
Let's do Numi, do you have combinatorial ownership pulled up, or Nez, do you have combinatorial ownership pulled up? Let's do Chase Burrow as a 1, right?
Okay. Give me a
and
second
just
here.
see where we're at with Chase Burrow, and then let's do Chase Burrow Barkley and see how different that instantly becomes. You know what I mean?
You wanted what was it again?
Do Chase
First
Burrow.
one?
Chase Burrow. Okay, let me set the line. 36% over under.
Well, Chad's doing the Lord's work in here already and listening to you. 37.4 for Chase Burrow.
I'm a fucking savant. I mean, come
John,
on.
when he wins a poker hand, you guys fucking suck. I'm a fucking savant.
Yeah, I'm a savant there, boys. Okay, now do it with the 3-way and put Barkley in there, and I think it's under 8%.
Yeah, I don't even have to do it. Thanks, Chad.
Chad's doing it already.
It says
yes!
It says 0%.
Hey, okay. So to Blake's point here, like, not crazy to let him go, and this is why. Now we get a unique form of this build with him coming back, right?
0 chance Saquon falls to 17.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to give yourself think through like the possibilities of this happening, right? We have a very interesting decision now. I was really into the notion of taking Mixon alongside this. I think Dalvin as like the mini stack with Barkley is a lot of fun. I think double stacking with Higgins is a lot of fun, but thinner. What do you guys like?
Man, I think Dalvin.
Okay.
I think Dalvin.
There's
I think we bet on
there's
one
also
or the
the
other.
Mark Andrews. There's also the Mark Andrews.
Dalvin.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. 2v1.
I think, and this is my opinion. The tight end position is a lot. We know the variable, we know the variance, and I think that Mark Andrews falls into the guy I would rather pass on him, or if he's there in the 6th and he blends in with another tight end. There's nothing standing out for Mark Andrews. I get the projection. I get he can totally come out there and be Mark Andrews of old, but I'm just willing to take the tight end variance and not waste a 4th round pick into this guy.
Yeah, and to the Higgins point, I think it makes more sense probably to just like choose like one of Chase or Higgins or the other.
Willis cracks me up every time.
And Dalvin projects really, really high.
Yeah,
Willis is the best, dude.
It's so funny.
It wasn't so for luck. Lowest.
Okay, here, Chad.
12,
okay.
Yeah.
So Chad bringing up, so this goes to our point. It's like we just look at the board, we see what are the prospects in a sharp room of these players falling. Like Saquon's not going to fall, so you got to open the door to the possibilities. And then, sorry, did we get a number on what the ownership of Saquon plus Burrow plus Chase is?
Yeah, 0.
There we go. So look at this. We
0%.
went from so I just want to articulate this because like I'm not trying to pump our own tires and shit like that, but I'm just trying to articulate the leverage that you can create in these drafts by yourself by just making one little move. Did we still want Burrow plus Chase? Of course. But by simply passing on it initially, here we go, right? Like we open ourselves to a little bit of risk. Love it, let it go comes back to us, right?
Exactly. Now, boy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw it out. Zay Jones and Gerald Everett. But that's weird, and I know the team's already unique, so we don't have to do it. Do your heart.
Sure.
But those guys are popping, and they're not being drafted. And I know we don't have to do it on this team, but that's not like that. To me, it's in a game total game that still fits the script.
I like it.
I mean, Gerald Everett in the PFF is the highest tight end grade. I mentioned what I talked about the Jags and what they allow. I can get that stat up again if
no Mike Williams.
Yeah, no Mike Williams. There you go. So yeah, I like Gerald Everett. He's been kind of that, and that's why I've been kind of passing on these tight ends are slowly getting clumped in. Sometimes it's like if there's a tight end run, I'll wait and I'll just play chicken and get whatever one in kind of the later round.
The other one that we could do also was Hayden Hurst and make it like
we could.
double Burrow.
We don't have to technically do the mini.
No, let's do it. He scored touchdowns in back-to-back games. He sucks at football, but whatever.
Save this board for Chad. He asked nicely.
Okay, sure.
Send in this board.
I love it. Yeah, no, we can do it for sure. All this stuff, but no, sucks at football.
Well, one thing I will say about the Zay Jones, and we talked about this last week when we were looking out at what is his name? Fantasy Dog Pound. Yeah. Shout out to him. Won the BR last week. We might do a little something with him in the future there because apparently he's been streaming some of his stuff. But anyways, he was the cash game plays. So if we just port the cash game plays, we've talked about this many times. The DFS cash game plays are often projection versus salary, right? But there is some merit in going with what the DFS chalk is and porting that knowledge over to our games. Zay Jones is the number 1 ranked wide receiver for cash game builds this week. Flat out period. It's salary versus point expectation, yada, yada, completely different game. But if he has a point projection of that magnitude, come on. We should be mixing him in here, and he's going damn near undrafted unless it's in a backdoor Lawrence stack.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good call. We see DFS chalk or DFS cash chalk bang all the time in these contests, and it's like, yeah, and it just pays off in a way, like in a last round guy where we. Sometimes you just want to take some points. There's nothing wrong if you've got a lineup full of upside. Just take somebody that doesn't bust.
Yeah, and I think
sorry, go ahead.
The narrative on Zay Jones would be very different this week, in my opinion, if he had scored the touchdown that Trevor Lawrence missed him by 10 feet on.
Oh, right.
He was wide open in the end zone. He scores that touchdown. You add the yardage, you add the touchdown to his total. All of a sudden, people are looking at the names, and he looks better than Evan Ingram. He looks better than Kirk when you click the little box score. And now all of a sudden, people are going, "Hey, remember that guy who broke a couple slates earlier in the year? Yeah, that dude who went off back-to-back weeks." And then they start clicking his name, right? According to ETR, Zay Jones is their number 1 cash game wide receiver play this week, followed by Keenan Allen. Those two might flip now with the Mike Williams news, but just sharing. I mean, shout out DJ Mitchell, tailed his hockey parlay. Nice little profit last night. Big respects there. I like that.
Let's go.
DJ's been on the show a couple times now. Jefferson at 5 feels really nice.
It's got to be.
Yeah. For me, this is the break in the sand, right? It's Justin Jefferson, CMC, and Josh Allen in any order. We could go with the Saquon here, or we could go with the Stephon Diggs.
Let's do it. Let's do a Nez draft and do Diggs, and maybe get one of these late round running backs that can go undrafted and break the slate.
Okay. I was gonna say that the combination of Diggs, of Jefferson and Barkley was too rare to pass up on. But
yeah, it probably was.
Yeah,
probably.
This is a good one from Chad here that this week we are seeing builds split at about 50-50 between 2 2s and 1 3s. We've seen this number jump all over the place over the course of the season. And I don't know. For you guys, what does this slate feel like to you guys?
I prefer 2-2. In a pretty big way. And finding different ways to get those 2-2 builds, I think is one step further.
Okay.
But running backs are so high up in projections this week.
Mm-hmm.
And in these games where there's so many outmatched opponents, I think that these running backs in these big spots are going to be what we need to win. And then in these close games, there's some wide receivers that are really, really down these ADPs that we can hit on as well. Sorry, let's make this pick.
Let's do it.
I think it's one of these two here, and I think Godwin falling back to this side of the board to pair with this feels really
that.
rare.
Okay. Yeah, let's say these three are these like these are the fucking guys. This is who you need.
Yeah, and then I think there's some merit to. Yeah, let's let Grill Belichick pick and then talk through some
friend of the show. With his big hat, Avi. Oh, okay. So he's reaching on Ken Walker.
So he takes Ken Walker there. I think this becomes a Tony Pollard bring back. And then it opens the door for whether we want it to be a Dak team or this just feels like a value hound team to me right now. Where
you kind of set it up that way.
Where we don't have to scroll down.
I think this is the pick.
Yeah,
and
I think we're getting way, way, way too cute if we did something other than that.
I mean, if you're value hounding, you can't be scrolling down. If you're a value hound, do not scroll down. You know what I mean? If you're getting these unique combos, you're already doing what you would do in scrolling down.
I think we might have low-key fucked up there. Wow, this is interesting. JJ Diggs is less owned than JJ Saquon, and I guess that's just a byproduct of where they fall on the board. But in my mind, based on the team we made earlier, was
I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, where people, or at least me, I was talking about myself specifically. I take JJ and then I don't take Diggs. I take I take Saquon, or I take a running back because it just feels better, I guess.
Yeah.
In the old mental model. I would also throw out for this team, if we just make this a pure best player available pick and maybe go Danny Dimes at QB potentially.
Just go naked QB.
Yeah, because Danny is really high up there in projections, and we've got Justin Jefferson to push him.
I think I might have effed this team up a little bit with the Tony Pollard pick.
Where would you have gone instead if you could have it back? Because we have every other pick that we could have gone other than running back still, because we couldn't have taken any of these wideouts.
So I would have taken tight end there, I think, and just taken Mark Andrews because I kind of like Mark Andrews this week comparative to the field. And then I would have let it all pick, and then I would have taken Fournette right here and Brady to close. That would have been my move. There's some interesting. Dak. Okay, this is going to be really interesting here, Herbert. Just in general. I kind of really like Herbert and Everett here to make this different and get the other game environment. I don't know. Maybe we just fell flat on our face by eating all this ADP value, but yeah, I don't know. You could have twisted my arm for Kirk there. You could have Herbert or Daniel Jones. I know
the bid
Brady.
Is that Gerald Everett sucks. I don't know. I think he sees some pretty good freaking volume without Mike Williams. And if we see him targeted 10 for 7 for 70 and a touchdown, I wouldn't be surprised. He's got that number 7 jersey. Come on.
Yeah, he's got the visor.
When Gerald Everett splits without Mike Williams.
Yeah, there you go. Let's get some usage rate stats up here. Let's run a little NBA usage rate stats up here.
Who gets the most production here when Mike Williams is out of the lineup?
Yeah.
What's his assist rate look like?
They're still in here.
50 down the hatch.
If you catch my drift.
Yeah. Says Everett sucks and then takes him 2 times. There you go. There's the disconnect between football and whatever. Okay, last BR, gentlemen. You got 8 more minutes?
Oh, yeah. I do definitely. But after that, I gotta run some errands.
Let's do it.
The errands, him in the bathroom.
Willis just drafted the winner. Willis. Let me see if I can still get it open. I don't think I can. You know when like the notification is for?
I don't.
Oh, there we go. I got it. Will is saying he drafted the winner with a Josh Allen, Travis Etienne, Mike Williams, T. Higgins, Mark Andrews, Gabe Davis.
Mike
Pretty
Williams?
Nice. Oh, Mike Evans.
Okay.
Did I say Williams?
You did.
Yeah.
That's why I was
My bad.
furrowing my brow.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so he got the little back stack with Josh Allen with the Gabe Davis in the last round there. ATN as the one-off piece you need. Mike Evans as a one-off piece you need. And then a mini stack with the T. Higgins and Mark Andrews. It's a very solid team.
That is good.
Mm-hmm.
He got your boy, right? Mark Andrews, you said? So good. Automatically a winner.
If anybody wants to check that out, that board is now posted in the Wild Card Draft Boards segment of the Discord. I think it's Christian McCaffrey, and there's no argument here. We've talked multiple times about the first three off the board, and the first three off the board are the first three off the board in my mind.
Yep.
It's going to be kind of nice when McCaffrey puts up that 30 ball on Saturday with the very first game of the slate, and everybo's just going, fuck.
You meant Elijah Mitchell. You meant Elijah Mitchell.
Oh,
sorry.
right. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell. My bad.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, this one.
Dalvin Cook
makes
for all the
too.
monies. Says my playoff best ball exposure.
This is Christopher points out one of the back stacks that if you miss on kind of like the quarterback run and you're left out to dry, this Dak Schultz is almost always available in the 5-6, and it's a pretty sharp little back end.
How common is that though?
I don't know,
Chad.
I don't think it's that common because Dak goes undrafted a lot. Maybe the combination's common, but as far as
that's what I wondered. Just how, like I totally
just built
of
a
the
JJ
teams.
Diggs.
I think what you want to look at there is how often it's done in a totality of drafts as opposed to how often they're paired.
Well, yeah, like so how many drafts he's been drafted in? Like he's been drafted 40% of the time, and then like of those 40
guys, we got a Diggs CMC team. I don't fucking know. I guess.
Sure. I mean,
GM. Yes.
Not a live on stream GM. Who did Mr. Joe Burrow take? At the
I imagine it's a chase stack. Yeah.
Okay.
See, hey guys, playing at home. This is why you don't do what we said last draft, and you just let him fall and hope he comes back.
Because we wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen can't. So.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's what
basically just you have to fade one, live and learn.
It's a lesson. There's no L's, only lesson.
Yes, you're right. Good point. Okay, this is gonna be very interesting to see where we go from here because you can kind of paint anything you want. I think my dumbass mind goes straight to being like, how do we get Tom Brady double in here? That's what my mind goes to.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I think we take Tyreek.
Live a little bit.
I think we take Tyreek. We get a little mini correlation. We hope Tyreek's a piece you need to break the slate.
Counterpoint, we don't take Tyreek.
Okay, who do you take? Who do you take then?
I would take Godwin. I would take
literally it was either going to be Godwin or Evans, so it just went right back to your original Brady point.
All right, fine. See, I think there's a time and a place for Tyreek, and I think that was it. I think you guys led me astray here. I think Tyreek, yes. With Skylar, is it gross? Is it whatever? Yes. When he falls to that middle of the third, that kind of like back end of the third, and you can pair him with Diggs, there's not going to be many of those in my estimation based on where his ADP was early. I can't imagine there's. I'll go out on a limb. 0% owned. Christian McCaffrey, Diggs, Tyreek Hill. 0% owned.
Well,
we're
you're probably not wrong.
We're trying to push it, John. That is the thesis of this. It's to push Tyreek Hill to the fourth.
I guess. I mean,
we passed on him at ADP though. It's not like we passed on an 11 ADP Tyreek Hill.
That's fair. I mean, I'm just saying based on where the contest started and where his ADP started at like 7 or 8, and now that ADP is slowly pushing down, I don't think there's going to be very many. Hey, look at this. John Boy is right, as always. 0%.
No one disagreed with you, I don't think.
No, that was
yeah, but I mean, we do give ourselves a clearer path to a team now, I guess. And for me, that path is tight end here, and pick our favorite of the bunch. And for me, that's Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews. Yep.
Yeah. Let's finally get your Mark Andrews share.
Okay. Yeah, we take Mark Andrews here. Okay. And now I think there's some interesting paths, but because Mike Evans went behind us, he's already got Burrow. Yeah, this team for me just turned into Lenny Brady. I don't know.
I think if that's cool.
If you guys can give me a better sell job, you could sell me on Debo Purdy.
I would rather we painted a pretty clear picture for Lenny to get home, and okay. and I like that. I like that narrative that we painted.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like this team a lot more if I get Tyreek on it, but then we take Tyreek and then we go like completely different direction, and we could maybe run like naked Danny Dimes, or we could do something like that, and it becomes like the projection darling team. I think we just kind of wrapped a really good team back into a Brady narrative because we had nothing else to click on.
Yeah, I think also what could have been nice is taking like Evan Ingram there and then turning it into a Justin Herbert team. Also,
okay,
we would have had like a double option for Justin Herbert, or like pairing like a Josh Palmer run back potentially.
Is Herbert artificially steamed right now?
Like, if we just don't see him, I think that's just a no badge player getting like bullied in a room right now, because I typically see Herbert fall. I would say maybe 20, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 23 is where I see him fall. But yeah, I would say his steam doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Yo, we got 70 of us hanging out right now. Do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is your first time around. Thank you for being here. We show up every day at 12 p.m. Eastern to draft some of these sicko battle royale best ball. Sometimes we mix in a little hoops. I think we got to push this one, Naz. We got to go one more. All
right, let's do
one more BR.
Yeah, one more, but it's not even noon 30 yet. I can sneak in another.
Not even noon 30, he says.
In God's time.
No, it's not. I thought I saw 3. I was like, it's noon 31. What clock are you looking at? But no, I got it.
All right, Brett Boy coming in here with Tyler Huntley will be a game time decision. I mean, I know he had a designation. I know he had the shoulder. I know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like, in my mind, I've just locked in the fact that he plays. Another draft, another no Tyler Huntley. Okay, Chad bringing up here for us that the Dak and Dalton is only 11% right now. So that's lower than I would have thought as a free back end stack there. Here, McKay bringing up a good question. Is Brock Purdy steam the same in BR this week like best ball? Absolutely not. Brock Purdy is going damn near undrafted. I've had to force a couple of them. I've forced a couple singles and a couple doubles so far, but nobody is. It's crazy to see the juxtaposition between the playoff contest and the BR contest, because Purdy's getting this steam job and he's going third round and stuff like this in the playoff. We saw him go 103 once last night. Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's wild. In BRs it doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah. Okay.
An Eckler team?
We haven't done an Eckler team today. I do think that I do still, despite the Keenan Allen narrative that we painted and stuff, doesn't it just feel like
the playoffs?
Austin Eckler? Yeah, player.
It's a little different, right? Because we're not. It's not a regular season game where you can just like they're not just gonna. I would hope. I guess it's Brandon Staley. We don't know. They're not just gonna just be like, all right, well, He's like,
here comes Joshua Kelly from the 5-yard line.
Yeah,
out of here.
I assume Eckler's going to get the role. He's going to get the volume. Like, is the splits? Is it is there a negative impact? Is it small? I mean, sure, but it shouldn't deter you from Austin Eckler. I don't think, especially in the game environment.
He's the engine, man.
Yeah. Do you guys think this is
what I was going to say? Let's do this. Let's set this up.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question to see if this is negatively correlated or not. I don't think it's negatively correlated enough so to deter us from doing it. But yeah, well, I don't know.
The story with the Chargers is always how Herbert just slings it around, and it's not a condensed, unlike the other Miami, unlike Philadelphia. There's not a condensed passing tree. He will literally sling it to anyone and everyone out there, to Horvath, to Parham Jr., to McKitty. Like, it doesn't matter who's out there. Yeah, Herbert's gonna sling it. What if they get condensed and it's just like, hey, these are my dogs. These are the guys. Like, they're just gonna give them the ball. And I can definitely think like that's just a counterpoint to the all season long. Like, when we're drafting a large slate, like, they're not as condensed as these other teams. Like, you trying to pick off these one-offs from these that they're gonna get it. I think with Mike Will out and it being the playoffs, my bro science take is just they're going to use them to their full capacity, and none of this bring in Joshua Kelly from the 5-yard line bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, we might have just drafted 22 receptions.
Yeah, and that's still helpful in half-point PPR, right? Regardless of what people want to say. Like that is still very helpful.
Joker's bringing up a fine point here, though, that has Herbert been the guy you need at all this year? No, not once. No.
But this slate,
we're faced with a very interesting decision. ATN doesn't necessarily fit the narrative of this build in which we are building, but I do think the value of ATN paired with this is surpasses any other Jag. I think Zay Jones would probably have been my favorite 6th round pick with this start, and I would have passed on the Kirk and passed on the Evan Ingram just to get unique, because everybody else would be thinking that same way. But when ATN falls, I do think there's some rarity in this combo by that happening. I don't know. What do you guys? Yeah,
I like it, man. I think you have to talk yourself out of it more than like talking yourself into it. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
I mean, who's to say we just don't? I mean, it's thin if you go Zay, but who's to say you don't tack on Zay on this build? Like,
and just
seeing what you guys think.
Load up the game.
Just get a couple of mega stacks in there. Well, the other games do flop. That Vikings game was it, and then this game we don't.
I don't think we chance it. I don't think Joka takes him as a naked one, especially without anybody else. I don't know. This team is dead without Herbert, and I'm going to triple condiment right now by taking Herbert here. I think in most situations he falls, but I'm putting the rubbers on right here. I'm playing this one real safe, and we're taking Herbert.
Sometimes don't want to be disrespectful to the people. I was gonna say, don't want to be disrespectful to the people that come after you too, and be like, "Hey, like I bet you won't. Like I bet you won't take Herbert like sitting up there." Sometimes you just don't want to poke the bear. And Joker's watching the stream. You don't want to give the people any ammo.
Has Herbert ever been the guy you need? Takes Herbert right after us.
Yeah. And
matter of fact, fuck you guys.
He does it for the bit because he's, he took down 2,500 last night. He just does it for the bit. He lights $5 on fire to dunk all over us, right?
Come on.
Cedric, the combination percentage stuff you can find by joining the Deposit Kingdom Discord with the link below, and then clicking on Chad's sheet, which is a pinned message in the Badge Bros thread. If that doesn't there is a link below as well in the description. Chad's sheet, click over to the tab at the base of it. This is what the sheet looks like. And
can you go to Discord and just show them where the thread would be? Literally just click
We'll
Discord.
do that after. Hold on. Okay, we're on the clock here. Lenny. Damn it, can't pick Lenny. We need a wide receiver or a tight end. Shit, Evan Ingram gets this build so much. Okay.
One off, babe.
One off who?
Babe Davis.
Oh, well, if you speak like an adult, I would have understood, and then I would have clicked it. Babe. I've never. This guy. Oh yeah, let's click. Take Vic. Take Vic. Hey, yo, draft Vic. The fuck? Who the fuck's Vic?
The king of nicknames. I love it.
Oh man, Newbie's just making up nicknames.
Have you ever spoonerized? You ever spoonerized anything in your life? Do you know what a spoonerism is?
No, absolutely
Jesus
not.
Christ,
You made that up too? Come on, dude.
All right, you want your babe? You want your one-off babe?
Please, chat. You got to know what spoonerisms are. I cannot be the only one.
Let's make a play here. What else makes sense in this build? We could onslaught this game and just take Joshua Palmer. Is it so thin? It makes more sense. Yeah. It makes more sense.
We are like going nut on this game. Why not?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to explain to me why you think it makes more sense.
If we're going insane on this game, like what the hell's the point in being like, hey, I hope we can pick that one-off piece is Gabe Davis from another one, or you just slap another like correlated piece in there and hope for the best, right?
Yeah, it's hard to think logically about just like a one-off. You know what I'm saying? Like a Gabe one-off is the same as like an Isaiah Hodgins one-off. It's the same as a Richie James. Like these, it's just
Blake, man. Just look at Blake's comment.
Let's go.
Humble brag that he's got a wife.
Yeah, yo, congrats on the sex. Wow.
Can't believe you guys have never heard of it.
Must be nice. Yeah, just need Tampa and Dallas.
I win all the money.
Points and I win. Yeah. That's basically the narrative we just pitted with the Chargers. That game scores 70 points and every other game scores 35. Is basically exactly what we did. If
we're going to fade this in the majority of our lineups, you might as well have one where it's like, hey, what if it fucks me? And set yourself up, get a little $5 of equity, and then never click on them again.
Okay. For everybody asking this, Cedric's asking the question again. I will explain like this. We are going to go like this. We are going to go to the app of Discord.
Via browser, by the way.
Via browser. You're going to click on the Deposit Kingdom. New me. Shh.
I'm taking the freaking overlay off so they can see.
Shh. I don't want them to see all my tabs, dude. Get out of here. We're going to click on the app of Deposit Kingdom Discord. There's a link in the bio below. You will join the Deposit Kingdom Discord. Once you join it, you will scroll down to this Badge Bros thread right here. Badge Bros. We talk playoff puck, everything in here. Damn, I'm going to kill this guy. This is where we've been posting the shared wild card draft boards there. If you click on this Badge Bros thread right here, you move up to this little threads tile up here. Wait, that's not where you're going to go. You're going to go to this pinned message one.
You want a non-boomer to do this?
This is Chad's sheets here. I'm doing just fine, newbie. And this is where they are all located. The combinatorial ownership document is there. This is the document that we've been referring to so far. So if you click on this bad boy, opens her up, and you can any players that you want to see in here, and then see how much they are owned percentage wise. There, got it.
Beautiful.
Good? We good?
Good.
Did I do it? I did a thing.
Good.
All right.
Beautiful.
We had damn near 70 of. Yeah, we had damn near 70 of us hanging out earlier. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, follow us on some of those social platforms. Join the Deposit Kingdom Discord. We may or may not try and sneak in a Deposit Kingdom hang later this afternoon. It's trending in the wrong direction, if I'm going to be honest with everybody, but it is within the range of outcomes. So stay dialed in, stay tuned there. Good luck to everybody playing in the BR streets this week. Yeah, it's a sell job. Hey, and while you're there, hit Chad up with that Venmo thing. I cannot, so I just send him t-shirts once in a while. But
give him the shirt off your back.
Yeah, but hey, if you ship something, go thank Chad for that data via that Venmo right there. Yeah, if you're not playing on Underdog Fantasy, what are you doing with your time? Use promo code BADGE for a match deposit of 100% up to 100 USD. Good luck this weekend to everybody. We will be hanging out in the Deposit Kingdom Discord for the remainder of the weekend, talking a little ball, drafting teams. Good luck in your playoff contests. Go jam that in. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody hanging out here. More nuggets tonight. Nez is coming back to eat 65 of them. Anything to add?
Good luck, everybody. This is where it all is. And if you get crushed in your gauntlets and your mittens, there will be more. Don't worry.
Will be more.
Well, I'll let John get the thing ready because he's not going to give me much screen time for when I start this. So you can get the end of going. But yeah.
Hey,
what's
going up, baby? Let's go. Let's go, baby. All right.
Yeah, you're not going to hear me on Sunday, by the way. Yeah, I'm going to be MIA until the end of that game. So don't even please do not even hit me up. I'm silencing the phone. Anyway.
All right. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.